everyone. Welcome to the Halloween world. Halloween spooky time.
That was good energy. All right.
Podcast. I'm Carrie.
I'm Dean. And it is the Halloween World Spooky Time 2025 edition.
Yeah.
See, Carrie, I just got to bring the... So this is... I want to tell you a tale about a road. A road in England. Sounds good?
Yeah.
You ever heard of the A61 stick? It's a different way. That's how they say it in England.
61 stick.
We in America would call it A616.
Oh, okay.
Stocksbridge Bypass. It's in South Yorkshire. It's in northern England. It, my good friend, is possibly the most haunted highway in all of England.
Never heard of it.
Well,
but I do love the way they call their roads. The M190 and
M1
whatever.
Yeah, I do too.
Letters and numbers.
Well, we do that. We use just numbers, though, for our interstate highways.
They do it more than we do, I think.
Yeah, they do. It makes it easy.
Yeah.
You know what you're on. You know where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. So the Stocksbridge Bypass, it allows you to go between two more major freeways, and it's actually built pretty recently in the late 1980s is when it opened.
How can it be haunted if it's that new?
It got haunted. Actually, it's haunted. It sounds like it's haunted before it was even finished. Our tale begins in September 1987. I get the sense that the road wasn't completely built yet, because I don't think it opened until later in 1988. So I think it was partially built, and they had security out there, I think, for as a construction site as they're continuing to build the highway. Yeah. It goes, by the way, according to Wikipedia, it links Newark-on-Trent, Nottinghamshire, to the M1 motorway, which is one of the biggest highways in England, at Junction 30, Carrie. It then reappears at Junction 35A and goes on to Huddersfield, West Yorkshire. Hold on, there's more. The road originally ran continuously from Newark to Huddersfield via Sheffield city centre, spelled Centre. The section of route between the N1 Junction 30 and Sheffield was renumbered A6135, and the route northwest of Sheffield largely renumbered the A6102. So I'm taking back all those good things I said about the numbering system, because now it's just goddamn confusing.
Yeah.
So they had a couple of security guards out there named David Goldthorpe and Stephen Brooks. Now, that's important to note, because often when you talk about ghost stories, things like that, one of the red flags is that you don't get real names, or you don't get more than a first name. You don't get real places. We have very much real places and real names here. So they're driving along the bypass. They're late. Again, I think they were assigned to that construction site. It's the different versions I read don't make that super clear. That has to be true. It's just past midnight, so they're almost like night watchmen, effectively. And it's, a little chilly here in September. There were miles away from housing. That's also important for what you're about to hear. So it goes through kind of country, a lot of lonely forested areas and country areas. So just past midnight, no housing nearby. All of a sudden, they hear a group of children and singing. They go a little closer, sort of on the side of the road. And they get closer, and they see them. There's a bunch of kids in a circle dancing and singing. They stop the car, and as soon as they start to get out, the children vanish into thin air. So they get back there in their Land Rover, and they drive to get closer to where the children just were. They then go right to where the kids were, just off the road, and they get out. And they're thinking, okay, did they run down a hill or something like that? But no, it's flat right there on the side of the road. Kids are gone. Again, nothing but country around there. No place for them to be hidden. And it's kind of muddy because it's a little bit rainy out. It's England. Mm-hmm. And they look at the ground and they see no footprints.
Oh, no footprints.
Anywhere. Just their own. No, you see lots of footprints. Kids dancing, Carrie, dancing and singing, probably around a maypole. I don't know for that fact, but
how far away were they when they first saw them? Maybe they
couldn't have been that hard. They couldn't have been that far. So they go about their business, probably pretty freaked out by this point, but they've got a job to do. And then they see later on, they get toward a bridge. I think it's a bridge that goes over P-Royd Lane or some road like that. At least, again, the different versions. Some call it that, some don't. But there's a bridge, and they start to go over that bridge, and they see in the middle of the bridge a man. They think it's a man. It's a hooded figure, like in some kind of a robe
Oh.
with a hood. And they think right away, hey, that's like a monk. What is a monk, an old monk type outfit, doing out here on this bridge in modern 1987 England? So they direct their headlights at it. And as they get close and see their headlights, it just goes right through this mad monk on the bridge. I'm assuming he's mad.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. And then as they get closer, and I must have noticed this, then it too, like the children before, vanishes
Sure.
right in front of their eyes. And they are thoroughly freaked out. They go back in, they report this to their boss. Later on, to the police, the boss described them as, quote, down-to-earth South Yorkshire lads, one of whom was a rugby player and weightlifter.
Well,
quote.
then.
Because, rugby players would never bullshit.
No.
I mean, that's not possible. The boss thought that was important. I mean, he plays rugby. He's not lying. So another person from the company, the security company, the Rotherham firm, named Constant Security. I do say that because there is detail here, which is important again. And like a supervisor, I think, went out there at 4:30 in the morning and said, okay, what's going on, guys? And he said he found them just like scared shitless. They're just in a state of shock, just super nervous, terrified. They just saw ghost children and a ghost monk on a bridge in one night. That's a lot of ghosts to see. One of them would have been enough. But two hauntings? Wow. Poor guys. He said they were physically shaking and, quote, white and pallid. So they was scared, girl. They were shook. One of them was even crying. I'm going to say that was a weightlifting rugby player, but I don't know that for sure.
Would you be this scared?
If you don't think so, but if you really saw, literally, you saw it. You saw a bunch of kids singing and playing, and they vanished in thin air. You see a person dressed like a monk on the bridge, and your headlights go through him, and you get closer, and he disappears. You'd be pretty shook.
I'd be pretty shook, but they are not in any danger, it doesn't seem like.
It's still going to scare the shit out of you. It'd be pretty terrifying to actually.
Yeah,
I know we like to think we
know.
all, but but you'd still be. I mean, Carrie, we've all seen the ghost hunters on TV. When they feel a little breath on the back of their neck, they are scared shitless. They usually scream, they cry out, they say, "What was that?" And then they cut to a break and commercial and come back and say, "Oh, it was me, Bob. It was just the cameraman."
These men didn't feel anything. It's different.
No, that's true.
To feel something.
Okay, whatever. I picked a bad example.
Just
whatever, Carrie.
see something that then disappears.
Rewind. Pretend I didn't say that.
No, I'm just saying.
Pretend I said if when they see things, they always get all scared.
If I felt that I was in any danger or that it could affect me physically, then I would be scared.
You never know if ghosts, Carrie. We've seen the modern ghosts sometimes can do some stuff.
I
that
would
the
love
old-timey
to
ghosts
see
can
a
do.
ghost, is what I'm trying to say.
Everybody would love to see a ghost.
I
I
know.
would kill to see a ghost. Let's kill someone and see if they haunt us.
But you're going to start crying. You just admitted you're going to cry.
I don't play rugby, Carrie. So no, I would not cry. I'm assuming it's a rugby player and weightlifter. So it could have been the other guy. I don't know. So the head of they called the police station, and the guy at the police station, I think it was there's a guy named PC Ellis who handles this. I don't know if it's him but somebody at the police station nearby says, "It's not our business.
Yeah.
Why don't you call the vicar?" It sounds like a haunting. The last guy's a monk. I don't know if that's why he said call the victim. He said call the victor, tell the priest about that.
Yeah. What laws have been broken?
Nothing. No laws have been broken still. They wanted to report it to somebody, and they did. And again, another good tell, though, is that this was reported to the police, and police can verify that. So the short time later, I guess that same morning, so they must have called the vicar and woken him up. I don't know. Maybe he's an early riser. But the vicar called the police station and said, "Hi, I've got these two guys here, these two security guards. They're pretty freaked out. Could you send them here? Because they're annoying the shit out of me. They're demanding that he perform an exorcism of the building site, the construction site of the highway.
Sheesh.
Come get them. I want them out of my office."
Yeah.
So he's just tired of them. So they went to a priest and said, "You've got to go out there and do an exorcism. There's a monk. There's a bunch of kids. I don't know what happened. I don't know why they're there. Did a bunch of kids get killed there? I don't know. Maybe. Was there a monk that jumped off a bridge? That bridge hasn't been around all that long. I don't know. But go out there and do an exorcism." He says, "I'm going to call the police. Get out of my office." So PC Ellis, he gets in his car and he goes out to the bridge. where all this was happening. And he's just looking around and he sees a big piece of tarp that's like, I don't know exactly if it was where he saw it, but he must have thought it was somewhere near, possibly on that bridge. I think he went to the bridge and he sees a big piece of tarp tied to the side and it's kind of flapping in the wind. He says, okay, I see what happened here. They just saw a big piece of tarp, not a monk. You know, they already saw the ghost children. They're prime. This is what PC Ellis is thinking.
Okay.
Police Constable Ellis.
Sure.
So he just kind of laughs and said, okay, dumb mistake, but I get it. You know, they were spooked. It was early in the morning. But then Ellis, I guess he must have had a cop. Again, some of the writing is just like, okay, he mentions that he's something. Okay, he didn't say he had a partner with him. So let's assume Ellis has someone with him. They don't name the other cop, but he mentions that he just had a really weird sensation in his soul. And he told his partner, he said, it felt like, quote, someone just walked over my grave. And I'm sorry. The other cop's name is Beat, B-E-A-T. I don't have a first name.
Okay.
Let's say John. So he tells Beat that, you know, I feel really weird. I just got a chill. Do you feel anything out here? And then all of a sudden, like every ghost hunting TV series, Ellis like jumps and says, I just felt someone right next to me. What's going on? And he turns his head very quickly. And what does he see? But like a dark figure right next to him, but it's just like the torso up. He doesn't see the bottom. It's just a darkly clothed figure, like standing like literally 2 feet from him.
Yeah.
Right beside the car door. They're in the police car on the bridge still. And he said it was so close that he could see a white V sewn onto the cloth of the front of his garment. I don't know. V is for vendetta as far as I know, but I'm not sure what that means. And it just almost as soon as he saw it and saw the V, it disappeared. And then suddenly it reappeared almost immediately, standing right behind Beat's door on the other side of the police car.
Mm.
A Beat freaks out, probably screamed like a girl.
Yeah.
I for sure would have. And then it disappeared again. And this time it didn't reappear. I'd be looking like, okay, well, now where is it? But it didn't reappear. So they get out of the car and they walk over all around the car, look underneath. There's nothing there. Now they're scared. They're maybe not as quite as scared as the two security guards, but they're pretty scared. They're pretty spooked. And they try to start the car to get out of there.
Uh-oh.
It won't start, girl. Try it again. It's not starting. Try it a third time. And it starts. The car actually starts. So it's still, at this point, I feel like the ghost is probably messing with him. I'll let him start on the third try. But let's get him a little more scared. So
sure.
They get back in the car, and they're just about to start the car. And all of a sudden, like one of them, they hear a noise from the back of the car. And then they feel it. It's a bam! Like someone just stuck a baseball bat, probably a cricket bat, and it's slamming the back of the car. They look back and they don't see anything, but bam! Another noise. Let's get out of here. Ellis has the keys. So Ellis tries to start the car.
It doesn't start.
The car won't start. Bam! Something smacks the back of the car, but they don't see anything.
Yeah.
Tries to start the car again. Oh no, sorry. Bam! Another slams it. So finally he tries a third time. It starts. He literally puts in the gear and slams on the accelerator and gets off that bridge. So it freaked out these two top-notch PCs.
Yeah, that's scary.
That would be terrifying.
Yes. That's different.
I mean, come on. So I do have their names. It was Dick Ellis and John Beat. I was right. So again, I'm trying to cobble together a few things here. But and this was on, it was a bridge called P. Royd Bridge for you Yorkshire folks who know of this area, in which case you probably know about this story.
Yeah.
So that was the first night of haunting there on the Stocksbridge Bypass. So the Ellis and Beat go back to the station and they write up a report.
Yeah.
And again, they are scared. They tell the other cops there at the station, here's what just happened to us. We just saw something and we felt something. And Ellis here pooped himself. Maybe I'm kidding. That Dick Ellis would never poop himself. But still, they were, again, very much shaken up. They were really worried. Okay, so they were both reported being very, very scared. And they put in their report this sense of dread that they had, quote, It was not that which one has when you are about to encounter danger, but worse. It was the kind of dread where you have absolutely no control over this feeling of dread. So they were, near panic is what they're basically saying in a very awkwardly worded way.
Very awkward.
So the security guards, they refused to go back there, and they left the business of being security guards shortly thereafter. The one thing I did not read, though, was there any actual damage to the police car? I didn't read whether that's true or not. That would be, apparently not. I think someone would say that if there was, you would think so. The boss, though, of the security guards he admitted, I don't know what happened. These guys, they seem like really sound guys. They're experienced. They've been working here for a while, and they left the business. So they really did.
So I'm sure he replaced them, and nobody else ever experienced anything.
I don't know. But he did say that, he didn't think they made it up because, quote, policemen and security guards are very unimaginative people. So when something like this happens, it makes you scratch your head, end quote. In other words, security guards are too dumb to make shit up. That's basically what he said. I know. So the newspaper's got a hold of this. The Star, which is like a national tabloid, got a hold of this, and they sent their intrepid crime reporter, Bob Westerdale. I'm having trouble with numbers and words. Bob Westerdale. He investigated this, and he wrote an article that appeared in the September 21st, 1987 front page of that tabloid, and it had a headline something like "Ghost Sightings on New Road." And so he reported it up, and it's in print, and it's in the Star, so it can't be bullshit. He reported about the two cops. So he reported them by name, and wrote how they felt a presence before their panda car was jolted by mysterious thuds. I just want to say that because I love the word panda car. Black and whites are called pandas.
That's funny.
In England, which is we should do that here for sure. So hold on one second. Let me see here. So you ask, was there other incidents from the Stocksbridge? Did it just happen in one time? Yes, it has begun a reputation. For instance, it was on a show called Strange But True on, I think, the BBC many years later. And they talked about how, there's been lots of incidents since then. Like two runners, joggers along, and then it's open now, I guess, along the side of the road. They saw a man walking along the side of the road at the same time. And as this person is walking by them, they became aware and noticed a dusty, rotten smell, quote, like an antique shop. I don't know if that means it's an old ghost, and old ghosts have gross smells associated with them. I'm not sure.
It's not gross, but I know what antique shops smell like.
Well, they looked closer as they got closer to him, and they noticed that the man was not walking on the road. He was not walking on the road at all. He was walking about a foot above the road.
It's levitating.
That's a ghost, my friend.
Yeah.
Another couple driving along the bypass, and this was in broad daylight when they saw this. They saw a man without a face, quote, hovering above the road, unquote, before disappearing into their car. I don't know what that means. That sounds terrifying. What does disappearing into their car means? It might just mean a badly written source here. I don't know what that means. So anyway, they saw someone higher above the road disappear. And my favorite, of course, was related by a psychic from Sheffield named Lucinda June. It says that's the best witness, or for sure psychics.
Yeah.
And she said that she's driving along and the car became very cold, and it became filled with this smell of musty books. I have a feeling this report came after the first one I just mentioned it there. And then all of a sudden she said that like darkness just suddenly appeared to the left of her, and quote, I felt very, very frightened, and I did pick up the spirit of a monk that had been there 500 years previously, end quote. So she picked up a spirit.
Yeah.
So now we have something, real hard evidence to associate with a past event that could have caused that monk to appear there. I mean, that makes sense to me. And there has been alleged stories of monks.
Wait.
Yeah.
The psychic's report is what?
It's hard, strong evidence.
Okay.
I think it's real evidence to be taken very seriously because the psychic said she felt a presence. And a monk 500 years ago. And is that kind of specific detail that I think makes her story very believable.
Sure.
For sure. I don't know why you would even question that, Carrie. So she says she did, or there has been explanations. Allegedly, there's stories of a monk being like, he was kicked out of a local abbey. And then later, I guess when he died, he was buried in unhallowed ground. So that's bad. Of course, other historians have looked up and said, there was no monastery ever anywhere near here whatsoever. But Lucinda June picked up the
Huh.
presents. So I don't know. I think the historians are probably wrong about that. The dancing children. Well, most people think they were victims of a mining accident. Are youngsters who died, quote, who died in a cart ride. Is there a record of either of these things happening in the area?
No.
Of course it's not. Again, I think those records of the negative records have to be wrong. It's probably just hushed up by the mining company at the time that it happened, or the cart ride company.
Yeah.
Big Cart Ride is a very powerful local business in the area, I believe. So most of these reports, though, were quite a while ago, like from the 90s. A local historian named Dennis Pinder, he is from the Stocksbridge and District History Society. I like that name. He said his quote, been 20 to 25 years since he had heard any reports of unusual events on the bypass, unquote. So apparently the most haunted highway in England has been dehaunted.
Yeah.
Which is good news.
Sure.
I think that's we're very lucky to have that be true. Or has it, Carrie, very recently, a ghost hunter on YouTube, at least as good of a source of Lucinda Jane, the local Sheffield psychic.
Sure.
In just this year, earlier in 2025, in April, he put a video onto YouTube. His name is Andy Pollard, and he's kind of a local ghost investigator, and he's also a vlogger, because I think that's still the word, or at least this source thinks that's still the word.
Yeah.
I guess. We just call them YouTubers now, I think, don't we? They still call them vloggers?
I don't know.
I don't think so. I don't know. So he captured what looked like to him a very spooky shadow when he was looking into, of course, ghost stories in the area. He put it on his YouTube channel, which is called Yorkshire Ghost Guy. I have not seen it, which I should have. So, and we just watched the video by Andy Pollard, and he's just kind of walking out there. It doesn't look like he's on the bypass, but he must be near it, and he's just talking about his past studies. He's actually asking any spirit there to not follow him home, quote, like they did last time.
Yeah.
You know, all Disney style, where they actually might follow you home.
Yeah, stay there.
Yeah, please stay there. He's very nice about it. He was quite kind. And then all of a sudden, you do see this shadow of what looks like a person just flit across the front of the screen. He's got his probably his camera, his cell phone, and it's lit by, it says in the thing I read that the lighting comes from the headlights of his car. So his car, he must be next to his car. He may have been going back to his car, I guess. You don't see his car in the video that leads up to when he kind of stops and then starts talking. He's just talking about his investigations in the area.
It doesn't look like a person to me. It looks like a shadow.
It looks like whatever, a shadow of a person. It doesn't look like and it goes very quickly across. It's on screen for a second, if that. So, which means I can't tell you how fast that means, but it's going pretty fast. And he, as you can tell from the video on YouTube, he clearly doesn't notice it. He didn't see anything because he doesn't say anything. He's just as calm. He says, "Okay, well, that's about it. Thanks for listening. We like to thank my supporters." Whatever he says, he finishes up, and it's a very brief video on YouTube. But he says he was there with his son, and he says so, he says it wasn't his son. And he doesn't believe it was a shadow because he says the only source of light was his car headlights. So how could it does appear to be in front of him, and the car headlights are illuminating the area in front of him. So it seems weird that a shadow. Yeah. So if this is a ghost, it's a shadow. The form and the appearance of this ghost is of a shadow. So it's interesting. I don't know what it is. The easiest thing for me to say it is that, it's whatever. This is 2025. These things are not hard to fake anymore. They haven't been that hard to fake for a long time. They're now easier than ever to fake with AI. So I don't know. You can't say which is one of the, we've bagged on AI a number of times, and we'll continue to do so on this show, because what it does is it makes things that should be believed unbelievable. Because if that happened and that's real, there's always has to be a kernel of doubt, because it's so easy and so common now to fake things thanks to AI. Everybody's doing it. There's so much slop out there. And, he seems like a very genuine person. I think I like Andy. Yeah. I'm a fan of his, but I've never met Andy or know anything about him until I read this. But still, it doesn't come off, and he clearly doesn't notice it. So if he did do it, he could have it'd be spookier if he goes, what was that? Yeah. Oh my God, it's gone. He didn't. Yeah. It just happened. So what that leads me to believe is potentially he's not faking it, but it's some kind of artifact. Could it be his kid behind a different source of light?
Yes,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Something like that. So anyway, it is intriguing. So maybe it took the ghost a while, and they went somewhere else, and they came back earlier this year. And once again, the Stocksbridge Byway will be haunted.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope no one's hurt, but I hope someone gets the shit scared out of them.
Yeah.
So that's the story of the most haunted highway in England. As you know, all haunting stories have to be the most haunted something somewhere for them to be taken seriously. And so that's what it is.
It doesn't really sound like the most
Oh,
haunted
Carrie,
highway
back
to
for
me.
that day in September of 1987, that was by far the most haunted highway in the world.
For that one day, maybe.
For one day. For one day, it was the most haunted highway.
I'm not giving it for all
should
time.
I put that in the title, Carrie? The most haunted highway in England for one day. No, Carrie, that's not how you sell it. Come on, man.
True.
Okay. Well.
But I'll say they oversold this one.
Oh, no, Carrie, no. Besides, I made up the title. I don't know. Is it really called? It might be called.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm not 100% sure it is. Look, do I tend to use some superlatives? Maybe.
Yeah, you do.
So,
let me just confirm.
Well, still. Okay. A pretty damn haunted highway in England for a night. How
That's
about
better.
that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was the
that
story.
one.
Well, we hope you enjoyed that story.
Thanks, Dean. I did.
And we'll bring you something spooky again very soon here on Hollow Weird World 2025.
Spooky time.
Spooky time. Echo, echo, echo. Okay. See you.
Bye.